I told you that the first 5 years of a child's life is more important than the next 15 years combined, would you believe me? In these early stages, their mental, social, and emotional development foundations are being built. Now, if I told you that these foundations are being compromised by the very thing that is found in almost every single home today, that is technology. The truth is that the constant exposure to screens for children under 5 is doing more harm to their development than good. Based on my extensive research, as well as 3 years' experience working with children under 5, I understand these consequences that excessive screen time has on children's development. Children under the age of 5 should not have access to any technology unless it is limited, balanced, and supervised. Today, I will talk to you about the effects excessive screen time has on development. Then I will talk about the causes of these delays. And finally, I will get into ways that we can help limit this exposure and help aid in child development. A landmark study done by the National Institutes of Health that began in 2018 discovered a correlation between the amount of screen time and the occurrence of developmental delays, more specifically in communication and problem-solving skills. Their research found that children who spent more than 2 hours a day on screens scored lower in language and thinking tests. The study also found that those children who spend more than 7 hours a day on screens experience thinning of the cortex of their brain. And this part of their brain is responsible for reasoning and critical thinking. Another study published by JAMA Pediatrics focused more specifically on parents who would give children technology to help them calm down when they're having emotional moments, or as we like to call them, tantrums. Research showed that using technology as a way to calm down children actually led to an increase in these behaviors later. A quote by the lead study author, Dr. Jenny Radinsky, says, quote, whenever a negative behavior is followed by something pleasing, that behavior is going to be accidentally and unintentionally reinforced. The study that they did followed 422 mothers and 422 children over the course of 6 months. Young children gain knowledge by exploring and interacting with their surroundings. Too much screen time takes away from the natural learning process of learning through play and exploration. It also limits their exposure to everyday experiences, and this can potentially cause a form of tunnel vision, which negatively impacts their development. Okay. Now, I will get into the causes of these delays. So the use of technology takes away from interpersonal relationships. A quote by Dr. John Hudden, who is an associate professor in general and community pediatrics at the Cincinnati Children's Hospital Medical Center, states that, quote, kids learn to talk if they're encouraged to talk. And very often, if they're staring at their screen, they're not having the opportunity to practice. Other research explores more specifically the parent-child interactions and how the dysregulations of these interactions between the two can be linked to behaviors that are problematic as well as impairments in development. Screen time takes away from outdoor play, which in turn can lead to obesity. The more kids spend in front of their screens, the less time they'll spend outside, and it's a more likely chance of them becoming overweight. They can be influenced by junk food ad commercials. They can be eating mindlessly while watching their screens and ignore the signal cues that the body gives that they're full. Or even just them spending less time outside because they're on these screens is also a factor in how they can become obese. The use of technology also interferes with a child's sleep, which is very important in their development. All technology emits blue light. This blue light actually restrains the release of melatonin, which is the hormone that our body releases when the sun sets to make us sleepy. So this blue light stops that process and in turn makes it more difficult for children to fall asleep. So now let's talk about ways that we can limit this exposure and help aid in their development. So research shows that focused and intentional engagement with a child can help alleviate these negative side effects of excessive screen time. These interactions can also reduce relational conflicts and can also help improve a child's emotional regulation, their problem-solving skills, and their cognitive skills. So ways that we can limit their screen time. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends amounts of screen time based on a child's age. So children that are younger than 18 months is recommended that they should not have access to any technology unless they are video chatting with family. Children ages 18 to 24 months should choose high quality educational programs. So think of Sesame Street or the PBS Kids channel. And it also recommends for parents to supervise and watch with them and interact with them to help them try to understand what they're seeing and what they're watching. Children aged 2 to 5 should only have 1 hour, only 1 hour of these high quality educational programs. Today, I talked about the effects excessive screen time has on children, the causes of these developmental delays, and ways we can minimize their access. By minimizing their access and supervising their exposure, we can help minimize these delays, these developmental delays in children and help them grow and flourish. The first 5 years of a child's life are crucial for their development. Let us protect their well-being by not letting technology interfere with their growth. I urge all of us, our parents, educators, and community leaders, together, we can ensure that technology doesn't hinder development.